People, deluded, I'm back again. Leicester versus Arsenal preview. Now, it's a mad thing, Arsenal fans. It's a mad thing. Let's just be honest. We have been appalling in the last few games. We have not started this season convincingly. We have been playing poor, whether we've won games necessarily. We have been appalling in the Premier League. In fact, the only words I really can describe our last few games being in the ground, stale, lifeless, and probably the best word, let's cut the crap, is cowardly. That's not the things you want to be attached to here in Leicester away. Now, Arsenal fans, we're probably scared as hell, and you're within your rights to be. Leicester are third in the Premier League, doing their thing. Brendan Rodgers has got them revitalised. Every player in the starting 11 is playing well. One has to wonder how long Brendan Rodgers and Leicester can keep hold of all of them players. The beauty is, Leicester have shown they won't play hardball. They got 80 million for Maguire. So, put into context, 80 million for Maguire, Maddison, Chilwell, potentially Telemans, and the rest of them, Ndidi to a degree, maybe even Hamza Chadbury. What's the price tag on these lot? These lot are sitting on some gold dust right now. Now, because of the form they're in, because of Jamie Vardy, the amount of goals he scores against us, because of how we play in the second half and we start second half, scares me, people. Leicester are one of the best sides in the Premier League, I believe. Over 20 goals in the second half, people. Leicester fans might say they start slowly in the first or whatever. Statistically looking, they score a lot of goals in the second half. Arsenal do not play games well in the second half. From start to finish, we need to, if you're not going to be in the trenches, if you're not prepared to fight today, if you're not prepared to leave your ego in North London when you get on on board that train or whatever to Leicester, these players don't need to go. They need to rally themselves. These players are not stupid. These players do not live in a bubble, people. They know themselves the results. Ironically, that's the things they say. The reaction hasn't been there, but they know the question marks that are being on. They look at social media. People are expecting you to get yourselves handed to yourselves against Leicester. Obviously, it's an exaggeration to probably say we're losing 9-0, but because of how we've been shipping goals and the way Leicester's playing, and I mean, Donald Trump's become president, people. If you put a pound on Leicester to probably score 9 and you win, you see what I'm saying? People are not giving us a chance. And if I'm these players, that's going to hurt me. No disrespect to Leicester, because Leicester are bullying the Prem. But Arsenal and Leicester, it should be a thing in an ideal world. If we were where we were as a club, Leicester should be the ones praying they get something on the game. But sadly, we're at the point now where not just Leicester, but just about any team that plays this club, they're looking at, if they don't take points of Arsenal, they're looking at as how we could have started better. In previous years, a point for Palace and Wolves, they would have been lucky to get that at Arsenal. They're looking at that as now as, oh boy, Palace, we were poor at set pieces, you know. If we didn't do that, we beat Arsenal 2-0, you know. Wolves, if we did this, it could have been that, you know. They're looking at that. Leicester are professional. Now, Leicester, obviously, Brendan Rodgers and Leicester are going to respect the opposition and going and respecting Arsenal. If that club allows any complacency, then even Arsenal might get 3 points. You can't disrespect anyone in football. But Leicester are going to savage us. You think of their fullbacks, you think of the goals they score in the second half, you think of Jamie Vardy working the channels, you think of Telemans and Leicester's ability to cut teams open in 3 passes. You think about, and I hope you lot watch it on Saturday, our set pieces, how we defend has been terrible. Go and look at how Leicester exploit set pieces. Soyuncu and Evans, who have been informed for them, go and look at how street smart they are. They will bully people at set pieces, and if we really haven't been doing what we need to do, they'll pull us apart. Like I was saying, these players, they've got social media, they've got family. They talk with their family and friends. Their family and friends must be expecting to get battered. These players, that must hurt. Now, me is sink or swim. If these players don't want to play for this club, then it hurts me to say they shouldn't be here. But at the same time, play for yourselves. It's getting to the point at this club now. Where is the personal pride? Where is the personal respect in yourselves? Not the shirt, in yourselves. Because you're going all up and down the country and just not leaving there knowing you gave your all. You played as well as you could and you lost to the better men or individuals. For me, that's wrong. As for any individual in any sport, it's wrong, people. It's really wrong. I've got a bunch of stats because all week I've been thinking about this, people. And obviously, you can't even see, but obviously, printing it off in my lunch break as you do and make you lot vids. I've got them all everywhere and we'll get onto the tactics board in a bit. Obviously, depending on results, obviously Leicester can do themselves a favour. I think goal difference, probably, I don't know if it allows them to move up the table, but they're level on points with Chelsea. They've got something to think about. A couple of these players, to put it nicely at Leicester, have been in this position before in that they've won a league title. So they've been experienced. They're not to think about people behind them and just take every game as it comes. But at the same time, they must be licking their lips to get top four. Many people didn't think they could win the league. So for the individuals that were there, you've got to consider them serious top four contenders, especially as we approach the new year. If they continue this and get these results, they could do their thing, people. They've got the better players in terms of informed. They've got a better coaching philosophy. They've got a better understanding of their team's tactics. They're way more galvanised than us. There's not really any positives to find as Arsenal fans. I'm just hoping that these players, we tap into human instincts now. When a human is pushed into a wall, and anyone is fight or flight, if you're pushed into a wall and someone is going to take your life, people, you're either going to fight back and certain instincts are going to overcome you to survive, or you're going to curl into a ball and meet your fate. It's not as exaggerated as that, but it's sink or swim. It will still be mathematically possible to get beyond top four if we bottle this game. But the longer that stuff goes on, you look in May and we're going to be here saying all this what if stuff, people, and it's long saying all of that. They've conceded 7 goals this season. We've shipped 15. We've only kept 2 clean sheets, people. You can write the misery yourself. Leicester have obviously won their last 2 home Premier League games against us. They've never beaten us in 3 consecutive top flight games at their place. So did any of these Arsenal players want to be part of that negative history? Boy, that's what it comes down to. They've obviously won 8 of their last 11 home games as well, winning 8, drawing 2 and losing 1. They've obviously won 7 of their last Premier League games, losing twice and netting twice in each occasion. So we know they know how to score goals. We know they know how to exploit teams. We know they're very good at cutting teams open. We know their midfield is very energetic. We know Pereira and Chilwell on either side, if they're allowed to double up against our fullbacks and our midfield don't do their job and help out if their fullbacks, if these lot have gone, Barnes and Pereira, if the fullbacks go and these lot are getting 2v1'd against, if these lot don't want to help out in wide positions and these lot don't want to track back people, it's going to get long. It's going to get long. What you don't want to do is go into that game, Leicester are all on top of us because of pre-match talk, and we're looking like tadpoles against sharks, swimming with sharks essentially. You don't want that to feed into the players, because we've watched how we've performed at away games. We will get eaten alive, people. We will be demolished in this game. This game is not the thing for it. And Emery's job is on the line today, people. At the game. In terms of, do I think, depending on, if he was to lose 3-4, then he's got to go. If he lost 1-0, I don't think he would necessarily be sacked, people. But it's his 50th Arsenal game in charge. The personal pride has to be there now. You see him kind of sticking to his guns midweek, getting kind of peed off in pre and post game conferences. Obviously the Xhaka thing as well. It's sink or swim. It's his 50th game and there's a chance it could be his last. You cannot, we're playing for pride now. We are going into a game hoping we don't concede 2, 3, 4. I've actually seen on social media some fans want us to lose because it might aid their case in getting rid of the manager. Whether I have issues with this manager and what he's doing in general is another thing, but I want us to win because I'm too emotionally invested in Arsenal to ever see us want to lose. Every team has to lose, people, but you get the point. Vardy's obviously scored in 8 in his last 8 starts against us. Obviously this includes 3 braces against the Gooner. No player has scored 2+ more in more different Premier League matches against Arsenal. Then guess, people, another bully of Arsenal, Didier Drogba. And then when you say Didier Drogba 3 times in the mirror, not only does he appear, Wayne Rooney appears, people, and it gets long for us. And you get flashbacks to Southampton, Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane's been reeling us, man. You need to allow us. But people, it's peak, man. For me, you need to, the way we've been seeing out games and our inability to close games out and get leads from winning positions and just be switched on towards the latter end of the game when we're tired, we will get eaten alive. Look how many goals Leicester score in the second half. Look how many they score in the last 10 minutes as well. I don't think I have the 10-minute ones to hand, but I'm pretty sure in my lunch break I went and watched all their Premier League highlights, people. And I'm really hoping I find that because I worked really hard for that. I went and watched all their Premier League goals again and saw where they kind of conceded. Their 7 goals. Obviously, like I said, the first 20 and the last 20 are crucial. It's like I said, it's a game of 10-minute battles. This is all for that. And I'm getting quite annoyed now. Yeah, people, I'm getting shagged, but I had a point. Nah, man, I'm gonna find this, people. Apologies for messing up this vid, though. But I'm finding this, people, because I actually watched all that damn footage and saw where they conceded. This is why I hate double-sided paper. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. I don't think I'm going to find it, people, and I don't want to waste any more of your time. I don't want to waste any more of your time, people, but I actually went through and looked at I went back and looked at the goals when they conceded the goal, when the goals went in, when they scored their goals, and when they conceded, which is quite annoying that it's gone. But in short, people, the second half, because I ain't got them to hand, the second half is crucial. Like, the second half is vital. That last 10 is vital. In fact, the whole game is vital. It's going to be a dogfight. Leicester, I'm not saying that because Leicester have not technically good quality. It's going to be, as much as it's a physical battle, it's going to be a technical battle. What I mean by that is high energy levels. You think of Leicester, you think lovely passes, you think a lovely team with a lovely work ethic. Them players are very humble in that they work bloody hard. Some of them players had to have resilience in their career. Like Vardy, it didn't all go plain sailing for them. And a lot of that is transmitted. And obviously Rodgers, it's all going well. You've got people like Chilwell and Maddison, called up in the England squad in Maddison's case, even more boisterous. These are the games they want to turn up in. Madison, allegedly United are in for him, people. Imagine that, if United are in for you and whatnot. That's a good look. And I think I've actually just found it, people. God is blessing me. But they, like I said, they scored a lot of goals in the second half. Against Liverpool, they obviously scored in the 80th minute. Barnes scored in the 70th minute against Sheffield. Telemans in the 74th against Burnley. Against Spurs, Pereira in the 69th. Maddison in the 85th. Against Bournemouth, 73rd minute, Vardy struck. And Ndidi scored in the 67th. Palace, they did the same thing. Sayintu scored in the 57th. Vardy scored in the 88th. So they're a team that score, and that was just a couple of them. I didn't go and look at all of them, people, but just a couple of them. They score a lot of goals in the second half, and especially the last 20 minutes is going to be crucial. For me, I keep saying the last 10, 20, if game management isn't there, if high energy levels ain't there, if application isn't there, if isn't forget fighting for the teammates, obviously fight for the teammates. There's a point where these players got to fight for themselves. If they're not prepared to do that at 5:30, then some of these players need to get onto their agents now. Some of these players need to lie about being sick, because it's looking peak. I love my club and I'm dreading the worst. I'm dreading the worst in this game. Games ain't won on paper, so of course you're always going to have hope, but it doesn't thingy with you anything. So we might as well look at some of the stats now, people. Obviously Leicester have won their last 2 home games against us. We've mentioned that. Never beaten us in 3. We've obviously lost 2 of our last 3 games against let me start that again. We've lost 2 of our last 3 games against Leicester, more than we did in our previous 30 against them. Obviously Leicester have obviously won 8 of their last 11 home games, which I've mentioned. What else have they got? Since beating Manchester City at the Etihad in 2015, Arsenal have failed to win any of their 11 away Premier League matches against teams starting the day in the top 3 of the division, winning 0, drawing 3 and losing 8. If I'm a player, that's hurting my pride, so I would like to see a reaction, by God's grace. Obviously Unai Emery's 50th game in charge. None of his previous 49 have ended goalless, with only George Burley's 67 games, Ozzy Aldila's 54, and Joe Royal, for those old enough to know who he is, forgive me for disrespect, I don't know him, going more games without a 0-0 draw from the start of the Premier League managerial career. Wrong. Leicester's, obviously Jamie Vardy scored 8 goals. Against Palace, Vardy became the first player to score 10 Premier League goals this season. It's his second season. It is the second season the Foxes striker has been the first to do such. And when he last did that, they went on to win the title. So again, you have to take superstitions to a degree with a pinch of salt, but this would give more aid to potentially Leicester getting top 4. We're going to get savage, people. Obviously, a stat on Aubameyang. Since his last away Premier League appearance in 2018, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has scored 16 away goals, the 3rd most behind Harry Kane of 17 and Vardy with 21. However, he has yet to score an away goal on a Saturday in 7 attempts, with those 16 scored on a Monday. With those 16 scored on Monday, 2 16 on Monday. I think it said, I don't know what it said. With those 16 scored on a Monday 2, Wednesday 2, and Sunday 12. Apologies, people. The way I copied and pasted it made no sense. But there's not really anything statistically or just with the eyes to be positive about Arsenal. And like I said, I've moved the tactics board around. I did not plan that. But when you think of away games, you think of the Leicester fans on top of us. What you don't want is this, people. What you don't want is Telemans and whoever plays in the pivot linking up with whoever's on the flanks, which it could be Barnes, it could be Pereira, creating double up situations, and we're pinned in our own half as they get up there, people. You don't want that. You don't want Arsenal pinned in our own half. We can hit them on the counter-attack in the sense of we've got the technically based players to do it. We've got Aubameyang and Pepe, who are not the slowest. But equally, they can do that as to us. So let me set everybody back. I thought I would just make that point purely because I moved everything into that position. Anyways, people. But setting everyone back, putting Ndidi there, put Telemans and whoever wants to be in midfield there. Let's go with wingers. It's got they roll with a 4-1-4-1 of sorts. Forgot to fix up Arsenal's team. Arsenal stressed me out so much. I don't even know who plays for us. Let's put the midfield pivot there. It's so difficult doing it from this side. Why are you there? Now, for me, people, yeah, let's talk about Leicester first and foremost. Now, Brendan Rodgers and just the Leicester players have got a lovely system. At times, I see a 4-1-4-1. I see when these centre-halves want to go out and play from the back, and Ndidi drops in. And Ndidi drops in a lot of times in defensive situations and allows one to go. And obviously, just in general, Ndidi screens that back line. Sometimes, even more so, when Leicester, how they've been playing, they're on the front foot. Chilwell needs no introduction to go forward from his fullback position, and neither does Pereira. On top of winning the ball and obviously things, and he's obviously scored this season, so he gets forward. But his job sometimes is just to fill in and be not a defender, but a defender of sorts. Sometimes unofficially fill in that role and obviously step out. Now, a scary thing, while I'm here, because it's kind of set out, ignoring Ndidi for a sec, people, and just focus on the midfield pivot, pretend they've had a man sent off. Leicester have the ability to cut us open in 2 passes. Do you know how many times I've seen Schmeichel pass it into like Telemans or someone in midfield, and Vardy's on his bike, people? They can cut us open in 3 passes. And I've made a video which won't be out on YouTube because they don't allow me to post it, of our defensive errors. And a lot of it comes on not being switched on. There's been a lot of goals we've conceded purely because the centre-halves are unaware of this man. The ball might be over here. We're caught watching the ball and ball watching. And this man makes a run for our centre-half. So when they do realise him, they're there. He's still ball watching and he exploits. Origi's done that. Burnley did it. Spurs did it for Eriksen's goal at the Emirates. Go and look at these games, people. I'm not just saying it for the sake of it. So big up Leicester's pivot, because from a coaching perspective, just unbiased with no Arsenal fan, I can't help but applaud Leicester City for what they do, people. Like it's lovely. It's a lovely setup, man. It really is a lovely setup. The way they've got people working. Okay, I've just freestyled with them. Obviously, Vardy. He's going to work these channels, people. If we get caught with our high line going forward and whatnot, don't leave Vardy in a foot race with any of our centre-halves. He is quick. He will do that. What's even more scary, if midfield... Let's move you, make you go back to being a striker. If midfield are not aware, people, let's just say play is heavily congested on this side, and midfield, whoever, are not switched on and trying to help people, and defenders get caught ball watching if play shuffles, Vardy might just find himself in a position like this where you think he's not involved, and the ball, that diag might come, or he might make that diag run and be in. You've seen Vardy hangs on every defender's last shoulder. Vardy is a nightmare to play against, people. Like, you don't want Vardy to play. Their fullbacks are incredible. Their midfield are hella creative. Vardy, he's the first player in the Prem with 10 goals already. And if you've been watching the Premier League in recent years, the man knows how to score goals, to put it nicely. They've got Ndidi screaming. Their midfield, as well as I'm talking about the attacking games, their midfield work bloody hard. Telemans, Hamza Chudwi, if he's there. Barnes now, Maddison, my man when he's playing, Perez here and there. Anyone that's in that Leicester team, there's high energy levels. They're working hard. There's no one in that Leicester team, whether they're regular players or not, they're saying they're not working. They're going to make us work for their 3 points. Now, I'm not watching Leicester religiously to be talking about them things there, but you get the point. And I'm at the point as an Arsenal fan where, again, if we just set everything back, we've gone into games away from home, whether they've been big games or small games, or not, no disrespect to the sides, because this is a big game for us, and thought about the defensive threats. I've done it. The first thing I mentioned was their pivot. Now, the wingers have to track back and the midfield have to screen. Like I said, if Vardy makes, if they're caught and Vardy makes that run and my man sees it developing and doesn't just do it for the team and help stop that, Vardy will exploit people. He needs no introduction like you've seen. Vardy needs no introduction to do that. But you've previously seen us go into games where Emery's kind of gone and thought, all right, let's be a tiny bit defensive and think about the opposition. We can't defend, but I'm not saying don't think about that. If we don't defend, Leicester annihilate us, people. It's that simple. But I'm at the point now, my lineup, I think we just go out there, man, because we know we're probably going to concede. I'd love not to, but we're going to concede. There's going to be moments defensively. We've shown that we can't do 2 banks of 4. We can't do a thing where it's just 2 banks of 4, getting a goal and defending for large periods of the game. We can't do that because people start switching off or people make defensive errors. We can't do that. We need to be able to see out a lead if it happens, but we might as well go out there and have a goal, man. Like, because people expect us to concede, people expect us to get drummed in. We probably to a degree expect to get drummed in, people. So why not just have a goal today, man, or 5:30 better yet on Saturday? Aubameyang. Just play the 2 strikers, just fit people in, whether that's Aubameyang there. Now, Aubameyang, you want Aubameyang in the middle, but maybe he plays out wide just because it might discourage Pereira from going forward as much. Now, for me, Lacazette, Aubameyang and Pepe, they all play together, people. Whether one's on the flank or whatever, you know the drill. Lacazette drop, Pepe, Aubameyang make them runs. Pepe link up, let's get these things going. So I want my front 3 to go out there and do their thing. Do you know what? I'm going with Mesut Ozil in midfield, people. It is what it is. I know Emery's got his thing and it might be his last game, and because of how they've gone, he might not want to risk it with Ozil. So Ozil probably will not play away from home. But in terms of connecting the ball to the strikers, the whole team has to do it. I don't want Ozil dropping in here because that will play into Leicester's hands. Indeed, he will have a free reign. And because Indeed he ain't stressed, he'll tell my man just keep going and whatnot. So I don't want him to drop deep. So people need to be prepared to play the ball forward. But I think you go with Ozil, you go with Torreira, the man that can actually put a foot in and is agile. And Guendouzi gets the nodding because of his form. He was poor in his last game, but at the end of the day, he's been in good form. He had his bad game. And there's not really enough a midfielder that you're looking at could say slot in. Maitland-Niles hasn't been playing in form to kind of warrant chances in a more natural position. Xhaka, not going to continue speaking about that individual. Who else is there? There's no one else really. Joel's playing. And Joel's would do his thing if he starts, but has he been playing necessarily of late to warrant getting a look in of sorts? Who knows? So I would probably go with Guendouzi and Torreira. Going with Mesut Ozil. Break the lines, play the ball forward, work hard. We've got to work hard as a team and be intact. And the man them got to press from the front. You lot have to press from the front and never stop doing that. And sometimes if my man's pressed and they beat him and they're playing, go out there and do that. Sometimes track back as strikers into positions you don't need to be. It's a game for all of that. People. Let's just go out there and try, man. We're gonna get. Listen. People expect us to lose. It could be mad for us anyways. So why not just go out there and have a goal? Like I said, when you're staring down death, you're looking death in the eyes, do you try and fight back or do you stand there and take it? It's up to us today, man, or in the game. Let's go out there, man. Let's go out there with these sort of man. Let's go out there and have a goal. Bellerin, he's been saved. I'm going with Bellerin. Tierney, going forward, he's doing his thing. Centre half is where all optimism kind of dies, really. Holding's my dude, but he ain't really even been convincing me of late. He's still a bit rusty still, but just gonna go Luiz and Socrates. And Leno and hope for the best, really. But If we're not serious, they will annihilate us. Leicester have beaten sides playing better than us. The game ain't based on sympathy. Leicester should be not complacent, because that will lead them not having their performance, but they have every right to be confident of beating Arsenal. They have every right to think, let's have a go at these guys. Let's attack them. Set pieces as well, be switched on, people, because it's a bit easy. Switching the team now, everybody's... Oh, gosh, moving away from this formation stuff now, people. If we just focus on set pieces, I'm not going to put everybody in because it's clearly not a goal to scale. Yeah. Soyuncu and Evans. If the man them are not switched on, these lot, from the games I've been watching, they make Evans, and it's a thing where it'll be like Vardy and these other Leicester players and Johnny Evans and Soyuncu, they will wait for a madness to happen and one of these players to get in there, and he's coming and just bullying it at that set piece. Even when they're not scoring, they're getting on the end of it, or just because they're moving mad, it's making things happen. They're centre half, so set pieces. Emery's got to get back to what I think he introduced, to be fair to him initially, in that we looked better offensively and defensively at set pieces. But boy, God has to be with us on the weekend, man, because I'm trying to be confident. I'll be as confident as an Arsenal fan, but we can't allow that to be as, pardon me, deluded. Like, let's hope for the best, prepare for the worst, man. It's up to the players now. Games like this, they need to give something the first 10 minutes for the fans, the travelling fans, to get behind. But we'll see, people. We'll see. Oh, spat. Oh, apologies for that, people. So yeah, on that note, let's get out of here, man. I'm going to eat my dinner. People, DG, it's been a pleasure, man. Q&A. I've just done the Q&A because I'm in the same pink shirt. But that's my preview, better yet, against Leicester done.